discussing about this particular protractor automation testing tool. Usually, a simple question rises in our mind: what is this protractor? Right? If you remember, whenever we are studying our education in our school days, we do remember about some kind of an instrument, geometrical instrument, right? A protractor means we do have some kind of a geometrical instrument, protractor images. Let me show you this one. Uh, so this is the one. So if you people have a idea on this particular one, whenever we are studying in our school ages, we do have these protractor for some kind of angles and other things, right? So now people are using a name as a protractor, which is used to automate angular applications. Great. Usually, a simple question will rise in our mind: why we need to go for a separate tool for automating angular controls? Okay, for automating angular controls, why we are going for a separate application? Why can't we use Selenium? Right? Why can't we use Selenium to automate angular applications? Okay, why can't we use this Selenium in order to automate the angular applications? Angular sites. Let me search one second. Okay, Angular websites. Okay, so just a second. Let me try for this Angular website. Basically, Angular.io. Yep, this is an Angular official website for this. Okay, so get started. Okay, so the main difference between an another sites and as well as these Angular sites is, let me click on a search button, inspect element. If you observe, it is an input text field. Okay, and there is a placeholder for this particular one. Okay, and there is a placeholder for this one. So the main difference of this particular Angular applications when compared to any other applications is the page properties. Usually the page properties whatever we have in this particular Angular sites are completely differ than a normal pages. Okay, so whatever the pages we have in this particular Angular application, the object properties are completely different than any other properties. Like a simple example for this one is, usually it will start with ng model. One second. So usually for any kind of an object, if you observe the various kinds of properties we saw is ID, class name and all those properties, right? Whenever you are going for certain AngularJS applications, there are unique properties like ng model and ng bindings, etc. So there are certain specific properties for us which is not possible for us to identify using Selenium. Okay, it's not that much easy for us to identify and to perform any kind of operations on AngularJS applications using Selenium. Hence, they designed a new tool or a new framework which was built on top of a Selenium. Okay, which was built on top of Selenium, where people are calling it as a protractor. What exactly a protractor is? It's an end-to-end test framework For Angular and AngularJS applications, Protractor runs your tests against a real browser. Of course, Protractor is the one which is going to work on a real browser itself. So the only major advantage is AngularJS applications. In order to automate the AngularJS applications, we are going for this particular Protractor tool. Okay, so in order to automate these kinds of AngularJS applications, nowadays majority of the customers are looking for AngularJS applications wherein which it has a rich UI and a lot of controls which is not possible with a normal web page. Hence, a majority of the people are switching to an AngularJS applications. Whenever majority of the people are choosing an Angular applications, we need to identify a mechanism using which we can automate their applications. Okay, Protractor is built on top of a WebDriver JS, which uses native events and browser specifics to interact with your applications as a user world. So it means whatever the WebDriver commands we know, if you are good at a WebDriver commands, then we can handle Protractor up to 60 to 70%. Okay, we can handle Protractor up to 60 to 70%. Protractor supports AngularJS specific locator strategies, which allows you to test Angular specific applications without any setup effort on your part. Okay, this tool comes with a by default Angular specific controls using which we can automate any kind of AngularJS applications without having any kind of setup again. And it's also speeds up your execution. You no need to add any kind of waits and sleeps more within your time. Okay, it runs on a real browser and as well as an headless browser too. How the WebDriver we can run on an headless browser, the same way here also we can run the test script on a headless browser too. Okay, cool. So the another point is what exactly the history for this one. See, the first version of this protractor was released in 2013 only. From past 4 years, majority of the people are looking for skill set in this particular tool. When the framework was basically a prototype of testing a framework, however, Google, with the support of a testing community, is evolving the framework to follow the evaluation of AngularJS and to meet the need of the community that uses AngularJS application. Okay, the Protractor project is a public in a GitHub and you can follow the issues in the project and you can add issues that are interesting. So here is a GitHub link for this particular Protractor official page. So here you can directly navigate to a GitHub. You can study all the details with respect to the Protractor and how to install, what are all the prerequisites, everything was there in this particular official documentation where I have given this. The Protractor project is a public in a GitHub and you can follow the issues, you can comment other things and everything. Protractor is a framework for automating functional tests. So its intention is to be the only way to test AngularJS applications, but to cover the acceptance criteria required by the user. Usually, majority of the people will think that using this protractor, we can handle only AngularJS applications. It's not the case. We can handle both the Angular and as well as an non-Angular controls using this protractor. Okay, the prime intention was to handle AngularJS applications, but we can handle non-Angular JS applications also using this particular tool. Okay, we can handle a non-Angular JS applications also using this particular tool. So what are all the various features? So it's built on Selenium server top on top of the Selenium. Okay, and it has a basic simple syntaxes. The developers and can testers can take an advantage to work on a multiple browsers. A developer can use a Jasmine framework or a Mocha framework to write down and to execute the test cases. Jasmine and a Mocha, these two frameworks comes under, okay, these two frameworks comes under a Node.js. Okay, these two frameworks comes under a Node.js itself. Okay, cool. Guys, am I clear for everybody so far? This is a simple automation tool which is used to handle any kind of AngularJS applications. That's the first and the most important thing. And it was built on top of the Selenium. What are all the features supported by Selenium? Almost all the features will be supported by this tool as well. Okay, Sweta, Sudha, Saujanya, Raju, everyone. Am I clear for you all? Mohan, Srini, do add your inputs in a chat window. Okay. And then as Protractor was built on top of Selenium WebDriver, so it contains every feature that is available in Selenium WebDriver. Also, Protractor provides some new strategies and functions whenever you need to handle any kind of AngularJS applications. Okay, it is also possible to use some kind of a drivers and other things. And then usually a simple question will rise in our mind, what is AngularJS applications? These are just a web-based applications itself, which is used to extend the HTML syntaxes. See, headless browser means without launching the browser, we can run the script. Okay, just give me a second. I will show you an example for that. Okay. So here the main objective of the AngularJS applications is in order to build a dynamic web applications. These applications use a less and a flexible code when compared to a normal web applications. Okay, why can't we use a Selenium WebDriver for Selenium automating AngularJS applications means AngularJS applications have a separate attributes like ng repeater, ng controls, ng models, etc., which we are not handling in Selenium directly. Hence, we are going for this particular protractor tool. Okay, hence we are going for this particular protractor tool. This is a brief overview. I don't have any documentation for this tool, guys. Okay, so I don't have any documentation for this tool. I directly written some blogs in my blog itself. Okay, you can check out this blog on Protractor here itself directly. Okay, so in my email you have a signature for a blog and there is a link for this particular blog. If you click on that particular link, it will open this particular page and scroll down. You need to scroll to the last page for the protractor. Okay, I'm scrolling down, older posts, again scroll down, older post. This page contains information about the protractor, introduction to protractor, how you need to install the protractor, what are all the prerequisites, everything. Starting from the come from the last page, you can find all the information from the protractor. Okay, so just follow my follow my blog in order to get a complete information on this particular protractor. Okay, and once we are done, in order to work on this particular protractor, for sure you need to install Node.js and you should be good at Node.js. Okay, you need to understand this Node.js first of all in order to work on this particular tool. But I don't have any idea on a Node.js and I am not interested to learn as well how to handle this. So in order to handle this stuff, as we are good at Java programming language, we are gonna see Protractor using Java programming language itself. Okay, we are gonna see Protractor using Java programming language itself. How come? By default, a Protractor, those guys are officially supporting with a Node.js. How come we will handle it using with Java programming language? Usually, why we encounter this situation means in my project, we are using this Protractor for Angular applications, wherein which roughly 5 to 6 people don't have any idea on a Node.js, and it's bit difficult for them to learn Node.js right away. So I did some POC to check out whether the protractor is supporting with Java programming language or not. So in the GitHub directly I found one link which is JProtractor. Okay, in a GitHub directly I found one link which is a JProtractor. Let me show you that. We are in a GitHub now. Okay, so let's go back. See here, I'm searching for JProtractor in the GitHub. Okay, so I'm searching for JProtractor in the GitHub, and we will find some information on a GitHub about this JProtractor. Okay, JProtractor. So the significance of this particular JProtractor is it's containing everything. It has everything what exactly the protractor supports. The only difference is you need to add some jar files with respect to this JProtractor. So JProtractor.jar, you just need to add this JProtractor.jar to your Eclipse editor, which will help you. Okay, JProtractor.jar, which will helps you. Okay, in order to automate protractor using a Java programming language. Okay, in order to support protractor using a Java programming language, but directly they haven't given any jar file to work on this protractor stuff. So what we did means we did some research, and even I interacted with the developer who placed the code in GitHub, and he provided few steps using which we can using which we can convert, or else we can create our own jar file using which we can write protractor code in our Eclipse editor itself. Eclipse editor itself using Java programming language. Okay, that's fine. So the ultimate point out over here is you need to add JProtractor.jar file to your Eclipse editor. Directly we can write a protractor program in Eclipse editor only. So this is what the conclusion is. So you don't need to learn anything background for this particular one. The only thing what you need to know is how to add this jar file to your Eclipse editor. Usually whenever people will ask you in an interviews, you can directly keep that I automated protractor using Java programming language. If someone asks you, so I verified in a GitHub and I interacted with the developer in order to get the protractor jar file for respective Java programming language. I added that particular jar file to my project, using which I was able to use protractor within my Eclipse editor using a Java program. This is what you people need to explain in an interviews. Okay, so this is a brief overview on this particular protractor tool. Okay, you can have a look into our blog for detailed running notes on this particular protractor, and even this blog contains both protractor using a Java programming language and a protractor using a Node.js also. If you would like to learn protractor using a Node.js, so here after introduction you have some information about what are all the prerequisites we need to have in order to work on a protractor, and then how to install protractor in our machine, which is a Node.js stuff. Everything we have specified in this particular documentation itself. Okay, so everything was there here within this particular blog. Okay, how to use a protractor using a Node.js. If you would like to learn from your end how to use a protractor using a Node.js, follow the blog. Okay, have a look into the post in the blog. Automatically, okay, you can get some information on this. Okay, automatically you can get some information and you can practice that. But in our sessions we are going to study protractor using this Java programming language itself. Okay, so in the next class what I would like to do means I would like to convert, okay, I would like to convert this particular one, okay, into a jar file, and I will show you how to write down a simple program, and then how to identify angular object controls, and how can we perform operations. We will study complete protractor stuff in the next class. Okay, how to write a basic program, how to execute a basic program, how can we identify angular object properties. In detail of everything we are going to study in the next class, guys. Okay, in the next class we will wrap up with the protractor stuff. Okay, fine.